Turn that shit down. Yeah, so Shador Sanders, he done, I don't know. I'm not a big college football. I like watching it sometimes, but I don't know. Maybe he should have been picked in the first round. Maybe he should have picked in the second round. I don't know, but it's always I always find it interesting when people start playing like the race card, like where the NFL is trying to maybe the NFL is trying to prove a point, but maybe they ain't. Maybe he ain't that good. You know what I mean? I personally don't know. What's your thoughts on
I definitely think he
Shador
should have
Sanders?
went at least maybe not top two, but top five quarterbacks for sure.
Top five. I think he not top five quarterbacks. Was he outside the top five?
He
I know
went
he wasn't the
late
three,
fifth round. He was like the last.
but I don't think there was that many quarterbacks taken. I think there was I know Dart. I know that Tyler Kidd.
Melrose.
It
went
might have
before
been
him from Alabama.
Milrose. He might have been out. He might
was
have
the
been just
last
outside the
quarterback.
top fifth. Yeah, top five.
He should have been top two, top three.
It's I don't know. Like
We
I
didn't
don't,
want him at Tennessee.
nah,
that.
you can't have him and
I tell you
Cam
that.
Ward.
No, I'm saying over Cam Ward. We didn't want him at
Oh
Tennessee.
no. I've seen some people talk about draft Cam Ward and Shador.
Nah,
I was like, that's just a waste of a damn draft pick. Like, don't pick your guy and then move on to other positions you need.
for sure. We need linemen.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we are back again. Welcome everybody to MEXed Feelings, where raw conversations meet real world insights. Whether you're tuning in for thought-provoking discussions, untold stories, or a fresh perspective, we're all about breaking the surface and diving deep. No fluff, no script, just honest, unfiltered dialogue on things that matter most. You're about to receive mixed feelings. I say no script, but that's the only script that I do read my intro.
Yeah.
I promise you that's the only script you're gonna see though. Welcome everyone. I'm here today with my brother Mario, Yo Lee, if you know him, one of Stratford's finest, I'm blessed to have you here, brother. I mean, it's for you to take time out your day, and from your family. It just means a lot, and especially on one topic that we shared. I mostly know you from Project Peace. That's where we connected. That's where we met. So that's where a lot of our relationship takes place from. Traveling to different places to speak on gang violence, speak to the youth about preventing gang violence. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Yo.
Yo Lee. Most people know me Yo Lee, Mario, whatever. East Nashville. Went to Stratford. Grew up in Sam Levy homes. Moved to James Casey as I got a little older, but for the most part, that's pretty much who I am. Where I started at.
So my first encounter with you, right? We in James Casey, and I was born on South Six. So right, my parents lived on South Six, and then we moved out to South 10th. They bought a house. I was probably around 5 or 6 when we moved from South 6 to South 10th. But during that time, growing up, going to James Casey, just hanging around South 8. So I was, all my close friends were from 8th, and we had my first encounter with you is, we had beef. Not us personally, but 2 streets apart from each other. South 6 versus South 8.
Yeah.
How did that? Do you remember how that happened? Like, has it always been a thing? I don't remember if it's always been a thing. I just remember us when we were growing up. There was an issue.
Yeah, I don't think it was always a thing. I think it became a thing with the younger groups. So
Us. We was the
groups.
problem.
Yeah. I kind of try to stay out of it, man, because like I said, I'm from across the tracks. I'm from Settle Court. So when I moved to South 8 and I seen that I moved on South 6, but I seen that South 8 and South 6 didn't get along. It was weird to me because Settle Court and Lisha, we stuck together through it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we kind of made sure we was strong together because we knew we were stronger together. But with our age groups on South 6 and South 8, it was just like, we don't mess with them over there, they don't mess with us over here.
Yeah. That's I don't like I just like to I don't remember the instant like when that happened. Maybe it was the Firecracker Wars. Maybe that's when maybe that's
You
the
was around for that?
issue.
Yeah,
Maybe it was the
most definitely.
Firecracker. It
Most
was
definitely.
so that's where it kind of it's kind of started, but somebody got too pissed off, and that's what
A
led to
lot
the
of ships
fights.
getting set on
And
fire with them
y-
firecrackers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and Yellow Boy D, we would dude. I don't know why he would always mess with somebody on South Six, and me and him would always be together, and we would be strolling to South Six in the middle. Like I'm like, bro, what are we doing here, bro? Like we ain't supposed to be over here. Why are we over here? And it would always, entice some kind of fight or some kind of wrestling match or something like that.
Yeah, that's what when I first moved over there, that was my thing. I used to like to walk around the whole neighborhood. So I lived on South Six. I would walk from South Six to Sylvian, through the circle, around the drive, and come back down through the new lot and all that, and back to South Six. And I thought it was cool until somebody told me, like, hey, you ain't supposed to be out here.
Nah. So somebody else I was supposed to have on the show. But I called him late, a little late. He just not calling back. But I really didn't, you know, fear going on South Six, because myself personally, only person I was really fucking scared of was Tuggy. Tuggy was somebody I did not want to mess with.
Yeah.
Because I've been banned in my life by Tuggy, and it was not the pleasant. I've wrestled people before, but wrestling Tuggy was a different story. But there is one place that to this day, I still drive past Casey or drive through Casey occasionally. It's not much of it left, but Dodge City was the place, and I would be in fucking Dodge City as a blood. I would be just seeing some female or something, and dude, like as I'm in this house, like I'm trying to get in the house. Like as soon as I fucking get there, I'm trying to go to my destination. I ain't hanging outside. I'm not. That's only if I trusted that girl. Like I wouldn't just nobody. I would go over there just to, I'm seeing you for the first time. Hell no, I ain't doing that. But Dodge City was the one place I did not want to be caught in. I didn't mind like South Six. I was scared to go over there, but Dodge City was it was a different breed. So welcome again, everyone. We are live right now. I'm talking to Yo Lee Mario, one of my brothers from Project Peace. Been knowing him for a long time. We're getting into being a part of a gang. Growing up, the struggles, the tribulations, the problems we had with just escaping that reality. So tell me, yo, you may call you Yo, you may call you Mario. You want the people to know you by Mario, Yo,
Mario's cool.
Mario.
Yo,
That's
Mario.
your government
Yeah, my
name.
government name. So you call me Mario.
A young Mario. So tell me what enticed you. I don't know if you want to tell what you was a part of, what organization was a part of, but tell me what came to that upbringing, like what enticed you to be in that part of that.
Just growing up in where I was from, Alicia, Settle Court, and all that. That's mostly what was the neighborhood was created of, which is GDs or whatever.
Yeah.
But my brothers, I'm the youngest boy of my daddy's kids, so I always looked up to my big brothers. Of course.
Yeah.
So they was already getting the ball rolling. They 3, 4, 5 years older than me, so I'm just looking up to them like, okay, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it quickly became what it is. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
got into the gang life. At first it was fun and kids, you really didn't know what you was getting into, but when I became part of a structure, that's when it became serious.
Yeah.
That's when it became okay. I'm really involved in something,
and something bigger than just what you thought it was.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
most definitely.
So that's the same for me. So I actually, when I growing up running around South 8, I didn't really realize that we were a gang before a gang. You know what I mean? We started out as Yellow Boys, and we kind of transitioned. And I thought that's just our group name. You know what I mean? And not knowing what that was going to lead to further down the road. So it wasn't that I was looking to join a gang or anything. It was just as my friends, just like you said, your brothers, one of my closest friends were being a part of this. So shit, I want to be a part of it too. These are my brothers, you know. I want to be with them, and especially as being, you know, I was a minority in the group. You know, I'm just trying to belong. You know, I just want to be a part of. I don't want to be like an outcast, and I just want to be a part of something. Be with them, be with my guys, and so like I said, we started as Yellow Boys and transitioned like the Goons, and then you know, at the
Yellow
end,
Boys is part of the Goons? I
yeah,
ain't know that.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And then we went to Treetop. So you know, it was a door that it was a time that transitioned quick, fast.
Definitely.
You know, I remember, and as a kid, you're not understanding, and you see a lot of these YNs that just don't. You don't. And I remember being young like that, and I just didn't realize my actions and the outcome of my actions. Dude, bro, I remember carrying guns to Stratford. I remember walking around the fucking hallways of Stratford with a gun in my pocket. And today I just like what like and it, to think about that's what I done and what could have been my life if I would have got caught with that gun walking around Stratford. I remember selling weed in Stratford. Like it's crazy to even for me for a point it's in my life right now to look back and see I could have ruined it all in a second. And I mean, if I would have made one slip up, I could have ruined it. I could have ruined all this, my family. I could not have the life I live now. Um, was there any points in your life where you thought like, you know, looking back and reflecting that something could have changed your life that you live now? Because you're not the same Mario. You're not the same Mario that you were, you know, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. I'm not the same ratio that I was. I tell my friends all the time at work, you know, because a lot of people from work and like new friends that come in my life, because I don't hang around the same people I do who I was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It's not the same me. So that's not the same people I like to keep company around me. Was there ever a point in your life that you can reflect back on and say, you know, damn, that could have cost me my life. That could have cost, so I could have ruined my life. You know what I mean? Whether it was, you know, bringing guns to school, whether it was, and I ain't saying incriminate yourself or anything, but, you know, what does that time look like for you?
Eighth grade, honestly.
Yeah.
Eighth grade, going to Greymore Middle School. And it wasn't a gun, it was a bandana. I brought a black bandana to school. Was cool with it all day long. Didn't have really no issues. The teacher seen it probably like second, third period. She was like, "Let me go and take that from you so you don't get in no trouble."
Okay. It was a cool teacher.
It was
I'm
a cool
assuming.
teacher. I
Yeah.
respected the
Yeah.
teacher. I was willing to do that for her because she was looking out for me. She said, "Just come back and get it at the end of the day before you get on school bus." Boom, cool, no problem. I come back to get it at the end of the day, and as I'm getting it, the school resource officer see it. Officer Dan Whitley, shout out to you if you see this. You know what I'm saying? But he immediately snatched the bandana from her hands, which was coming into my hands. He snatched the bandana. He was like, "Oh no, you can't have this. You going with me? Come to the office." I'm like, "Man, she already done took it. It's the end of the day. I'm going home. You gonna make me miss my bus." By this time, all my little homeboys surrounding the thing. They see some commotion going on. He starts to get disrespectful. He like, this shit really ain't nothing. Da, da, da. He throw it on the ground, get to stomping it.
The resource officer?
Resource officer.
That's crazy.
So now I'm like, you making a fool of yourself because it ain't really that serious for me.
Yeah.
Like that don't mean that to us. You know what I'm saying? That's not, it's that, but it ain't that.
Yeah.
So you making a fool of yourself while you looking stupid. And I called him an asshole.
Yeah.
He threw me up against the wall. Bloom blam. That changed my life right there. Because that reputation followed me through the rest of school. I got kicked out of school right there on the spot.
For that moment?
For the rest of the school year.
Well, I'm saying that moment made
that
you
moment,
moment of time.
It made me, they labeled me as a gang leader, gang member, all this. I had to do a year in alternative school.
Yeah.
And that was like going to the penitentiary.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about going to the penitentiary, you just meet a bunch of new gang members, you meet a bunch of new influences.
You
And
start learning gang shit.
Yeah, you start really getting into it. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how it was. It only lasted about 3 days though. I couldn't do it. Like it was like jail.
Yeah.
I went to Jailbacks Alternative. It was 4 corners. They ain't even had an upstairs. And I lasted 3 days, like I said, and I left. When I came back to try to get back in regular school, they put me in Deadwood. I'm mouthful of goals. I'm finna be 13, 14. I'm going to 8th grade again. I lasted probably 6 weeks in there, and they was like, we got to get him up out of here. He gonna drive it, he gonna turn the school out. So they sent me to Stratford. I don't even think I did 8th grade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just kicked me on up to 9th grade. And from there on, that reputation just followed me around as this gang member.
Yeah, yeah. But were you doing anything like, so that moment that you encountered with that resource officer, the other times where you were kicked out of school, were you doing anything to, invoke gang violence or anything like, or was it just they saw you, they seen what you look like, and were like, nah, we can't have you disrupting school? You was fucking up with me.
I was fucking up, but it wasn't in the name of the gang. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it was just
I
guess me being who I was, they automatically labeled as gang.
Yeah,
even though the gang might not have nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I got into multiple fights. Most of the fights was
just being a badass kid.
Well, my little sister, one of my friends came to me and was like, "Man, this bad bitch I try to talk to, blah blah blah." He got to talking about who she was. I'm like, "Man, that's my sister."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, fuck that bitch."
Yeah.
Immediately, come here. You know what I'm saying? I got to go in this shit. Boom, they take me to the office. Another one of them incidents. They find bandanas, blah blah blah. It's automatic gang shit. Didn't have nothing to do with gangs though. But I guess in their eyes, this little motherfucker menace.
It's revolving door. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing when you get categorized in as a person that you can't escape that. Like, just like you said, they see you and that's a gang. That's the first thing that pops up in the mind is a gang member. You know what I mean? And so that haunts you. I mean, pretty much. I don't know if do you feel like you still have that image to this day?
Nah, most definitely not.
Yeah. Okay.
Most definitely not. Like, little kids see me nowadays, and most times Coach Yoli or coach or something like that from where I done coached them. Taught them something different in life.
Yeah.
And I definitely like that name better
than
G-O-E or some crazy shit they used to call me.
We are here today talking with Mario Lee on the encounters of gang life and escaping it. So when you saw your brothers and they were part of that life and it took you down that road, how does because I don't know, I honestly don't know, and maybe you can't tell me, but how does a GD become a GD? Are you jumped in? Because it's not typical. A GD isn't typical gang, right?
Right. It's considered an organization.
Okay. But are you jumped in?
That you got certain groups that think they created the group. You know what I'm saying? You always gonna have those people, renegade people.
And they might try to change the rules.
They Larry Hoover. No, you're not. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? But properly, you're supposed to get blessed in or whatever. But you got those who get beat in. That's correct.
That aspect to me, dude, is it's crazy to because I was jumped in and I had to fight 2 dudes. I knocked one of the guys' tooth out, a close friend of mine, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like in that time frame, I'm like, why am I sitting here, one, trying to beat my boy ass, or he trying to beat my ass to join this to join this gang?
Right.
Like, I done it anyways because I was in that time, in that moment in time. Now I wasn't thinking like that. I was just, I'm just in the movement. I'm just doing this, doing that, whatever that's involved for me to join this gang, But the aspect of us trying to hurt each other, trying to physically harm each other, is just, is mind-boggling for me to even think of right now at this point in my life.
Let me say something about joining gangs and stuff like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I did research. Like, I see my brothers and them getting into GD or whatever, and I kind of almost went astray, you know what I'm saying? But I looked at all the other gangs or whatever organizations, and I seen, okay, they doing like you said, why they got to beat each other up?
Yeah,
to join the gang?
yeah,
Not that I was scared to beat nobody up, but like if I'm gonna consider you my brother, if I'm
yeah,
gonna trust you with my life,
exactly.
you might not trust. I might not can trust you if I knocked your tooth out. You
Yeah,
might have harboring feelings in your mind, like knock my tooth out back in the day. I'm gonna get his ass when I get a chance. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I chose to go the route I chose, because it was like, okay, they blessing people.
Yeah,
You
instead of me. Yeah,
you have to go through. You have to learn your literature and this, that, and the third. It ain't just I'll beat you up now. We cool.
Yeah,
No. That's
crazy.
Yeah,
So we had another, so versus our time, you know, South 6 versus South 8, you know, all the fights and everything, the ruckus that helped develop a community at Stratford, and a program called Project Peace.
Yeah.
So I guess that enticed, and shout out to Miss Carolyn Anthony who helped develop that program. But Miss Anthony came up with this program, Project Peace, because we're having a lot of gang issues, whether it's Blood versus Crips, GDs versus whoever, and Brown Pride versus Asian Pride. I mean, we were having a lot of, you know, gang fights and gang issues at Stratford. So she developed this program to, you know, basically, you know, honestly, actually, you were a part of that. You and who else was in the paper?
All of us was in the paper at one point.
No, but the original, like when it first, like it was because it was Stars at first, right?
Well, Stars was the group that kind of helped mold us and get us
into Project Peace,
bigger places. Project Peace was formed from Miss Anthony.
Okay, yeah.
But when Stars came in, they was like a mediation program. They taught us how to, instead of us having to beat each other up or kill each other over these gangs, they taught us how to mediate between each other. Okay, what's the big problem? How can we get y'all past this point?
Okay.
That was with Miss Rowland. When she came in, she taught us all that and how to come up with. She helped us come up with the name and what was the what do you call it, the when you the theme or the theme, kind of like the theme or the whatever you want to call it. I forgot the name of it, but just she came up with helped us come up with all that. It was all our ideas, but she just facilitated.
Yeah.
She was able to get us out of class
in that moment. Yeah, absolutely. So and that's I was never a part of Stars, but I was part of Project Peace. So maybe I was part of Stars and didn't know it. Maybe I was, but Project Peace, you know, I looked at it. I didn't look at it honestly in that time in my life. I wasn't looking at it as, we need to stop gang violence. Hell no. I was trying to get out of class, trying to get some pizza. You know, I just wanted to, you know, do that. You know, be with my friends and get out of class. You know, that was the bigger role. But deep down, even though I wasn't fully intentional of, you know, getting out of the gang, getting out of my gang, or I actually wasn't actively. I was in my gang, but I wasn't in the gang then. I didn't actually get put down until a few years later. So I wasn't fully a part of making peace with anybody. Like I said, I was just trying to get out of fucking class. But when these things happened, you know, it sets whether or not I wanted peace. It puts roots in your heart that, okay, these are your friends. Like, because we were all grouped together. People we didn't like, you know, the other streets that we didn't like. We were all forced in this room. And, you know, either we were gonna cohabitate with each other, just live with each other amongst ourselves right there in that room, or we wouldn't get no damn peace. So we're going back to class or get suspended. So so it helped start those roots and finding peace and finding, you know, a way out. Whether I was willing to do it at that time or not. When did Stars, when they pulled you, and it was a few other guys I'm thinking of a guy with braids. He had braids.
Isaiah.
Was it Isaiah? Okay. It was twin. Yeah. It was you, him, and I feel like it was one more person that was a big part of that group, the originators.
It all started in Miss Anthony's class. It was International Peace Day, and you know,
she
would make us write a journal.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Every morning in her class, she'd make you write a journal, and she wanted us to write a journal on how do we think we can create peace at Stratford. And of course, first thing pop in my head, if I can get all these niggas to get to come together and quit beefing and killing each other or fighting each other over this nonsense, that we can have some type of form of peace.
Yeah.
She's seen that and read and was like, so how do you think this is something you could do? And in the back of my mind, I was like, hell nah, but you know, it came out, because I knew prominent figures in these groups.
Yeah.
To where if I could get them to come, I knew everybody else would follow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it went. She was like, well, I give you the pass to go get who you need to go get. And if they come, I'll buy pizza. So as kids, we, like you said, we didn't even know what we was getting, getting into. Mm-hmm. So when the pizza came, or before the pizza came, I'm steady more bringing people to the room, bringing people to the room, bringing people to the room. By the time we all get into the room, it's like Crips over there, Bloods over there, GDs over there, Brown Pride, everybody's sectioned up. Mm-hmm. Pizza come in the room, everybody get up, get some pizza. They say, you know, we all sitting amongst each other, laughing and joking, talking to each other.
Yeah, like no problems.
Like it wasn't no issue.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, Miss Anthony was like, you kind of got something here. You ever thought about doing something with it? I was like, not really. And she introduced me to Miss Rowland at the STARS program. And the STARS program pretty much took it and ran with it after that.
Yeah. It's amazing that at that age, were you like 14, 15, somewhere around there at that time, to already be in that mindset, to know, because I wasn't in that mindset, you know what I mean? I mean, there's something in the back of your mind like, hey, we need to be doing something better. But you know, I'm young, I'm just hanging with my friends. I'm, you know, trying to find the next female to, you know, to grow. And that was a part of me joining. You know, it was for me, honestly, it was the cool thing to do because my friends was doing it. I didn't want to be an outcast and outsider. I wanted to be a part of my friends. I loved my friends, my friend group. This is who I was a part of. But for you to already be in that mindset, I mean, it shows great maturity at that age to understand that you have that much of a voice. You have that much power to, all right, I can get this guy, and we can all come into this space and, you know, be at peace even for a moment of time. That just shows great maturity. So reflecting back, going to a time in my life, you know, I witnessed my first murder on, I think it was my like a 14th birthday. So we was on South 8th, and I don't even know whose house it was, but they threw me a party, a birthday party in somebody's house on 8th. I don't know whose it was. And so we all teens, we all in this house. It might have been an empty fucking house. For all I know, I don't even know. It was nothing in there when we went in there. So it might have been an empty house. So it's like midnight, and like I said, it's my 14th, 15th birthday, and there was a big commotion outside. So we all leave the party. And I actually don't even know none of these people that was involved. I've never seen none of these people before, never seen them again. And I walk outside, and we walk to the end of the road to get to the road where all the commotion is. And all of a sudden, just shots ringing. So me and my friends take off. We giggling like we 14 and 15. We laughing, not knowing this is a fucking serious moment in time right now. We laughing as we run it, heart beating, laughing, giggling. We get to I don't even remember what it's called no more. That's crazy. I'm trying to think of this. It wasn't a new lot. It was before, it was on 8th, but it was the cut. That's what we called it, the cut. So we run to the cut, ran behind a building, and we're probably 100 yards from where the shooting took place. So maybe, after we run there, we hang out there for about 10 minutes, shots still ringing. Like you could hear shots still ringing. And we wait about 5 minutes behind this building, and the shots stop. So we're going to go back to the party. We go back to the party, and it's this dude, never seen him before a day in my life, in the middle of South 8th, just laying in the middle of the street. And that was the very first moment that I saw someone get murdered. And the very first moment in time, like, oh, this shit's real. Like, this could be me or anything. Like this ain't no game. This is this is what life is and where it ends for him. You know what I mean? And we just continued on. Like police came, ambulance came, carried him off. Like I said, I've never seen this dude a day in my life. I didn't know they were older than us. They're a lot older than us too. So I ain't recognize anybody. But it was a scary moment in time because this is the first time I've witnessed someone die and someone get murdered right in front of me. Was there ever there's there ever a time that just kind of snapped like, damn, this shit's real, that something like that happened to you?
Yeah. I don't want to say no names, but I seen somebody get
Yeah,
shot.
don't incriminate nobody.
I seen somebody get shot. They ain't died, but they definitely took multiple gunshots.
Yeah,
to the lower body.
Uh-huh.
They were shot multiple times, and I was like, man, what if he, like you said, what if he would have died? He could have died.
Yeah, yeah. Life's over. And that's the thing. So I was shot twice. I don't know if you knew.
I knew you shot one. Was it all on one occasion?
That was all one time. Yeah, I was shot in my stomach once and my leg once. It was all one time. It was. So the story behind that is, I ain't gonna say the guy's name, but me and my friends, at that moment we was bloods. We was active blood members. And we go to a party. We go to some, I don't even remember where it was. I think I might have been 18, 19 at the time. And we go to this party, and this promoter come out after the party, and he recognizes like, hey, I want to throw y'all a party, yada yada yada. We're gonna put y'all on flyers and all that bullshit. Not knowing that this party was to set us up. So there was a backtracking to a week prior. There was a time where we beat the shit out of this one Crip dude at another party. I mean, we beat him to a fucking pulse. And this promoter was related to this guy. So he tells us a good story, and we do this party thing, right? So I don't know if you remember, there was a abandoned building on Ellington Park, not on Ellington Parkway. It was in Madison, but if you're going like towards Ellington Parkway, there was like a 5-story abandoned building that used to stand right there in I can't think of the damn road or anything, but it was an abandoned building. That's where the party was. And so we get there that night and go up to the top floor elevator. We know security. Like, we recognize security from other parties. So we go in, we get patted. Everybody gets patted down. No big deal. We're not bringing nothing into the club or anything or the party. So we get there. We're in our little corner. You know how everybody does when they get to the club. They get to their corner or they side of the room. And we recognize most people in there. I mean, it was a live party, so it wasn't no bullshit going on at the time. We're there maybe 10 minutes, and this dude comes around the party, and he's wearing an orange bandana. And I'm like, I'm standing in front, you know, how dudes do. We just be standing in the club and just looking around. He walks right by me, and I grab his flag. I twist it in my arm, and I kind of choke him with it. And I was like, get the fuck around here. We don't fuck with you. And then I threw him. And it wasn't nothing else. He ain't say nothing. He ain't do nothing. I thought he was gone by that time. So, like I said, me 10 years ago was a different person. I wouldn't do no shit like that today. But so he walks around. There's a couple songs come on, and there's this one song in particular. I don't know if you do it yourself, but so sometimes you can associate trauma if something happens. So there's this one song that I dislike to this day. It's a Lil Wayne song, right? And I associate that song to trauma, and I don't like it. And I love Lil Wayne. I listen to anything Lil Wayne, but this song, and it's a popular song. It was I don't spend time. Fuck that.
Man, fuck these bitches.
Yeah. That song. I couldn't think of that. What's the name of that song?
I can't think of the name.
But it's just Lil Wayne on it, right? So this song comes on. It's like the first 30 seconds. We vibing. This dude, he comes, same dude with the bandana. He comes around this time, no bandana on, right? He's got his hand in his pocket. And he's like, from me to you right now. And he's like, what's cracking? And I'm like, what's popping? immediately,
Yeah.
and myself at that point in my life, I had you don't think, your mind, your brain's not developed enough to just to think properly. So right after I say what's popping, I just immediately, I know I got my boys behind me. If I'm getting my ass beat, he getting his ass beat.
For sure.
So I said, what's popping? I hit him. He stumbles back. He takes 2 steps, right? And I approach him again, hit him again. This time he hits the wall, and he's right against the wall this time. And I'm maybe a step from him. At that point in time, he pulls out his gun and just starts shooting. He shot. He shot. I don't know. Maybe he emptied the magazine on the entire club. So I immediately just run. There's a bathroom on that floor, and me and a bunch of other people are in this bathroom, and all I remember next is a female screaming out, "Oh my God, you're bleeding!" And I'm looking around like I ain't bleeding. I'm cool. I'm straight.
Yeah.
He missed, and I look down, and my shirt is just covered in blood, and I immediately just fall to the ground. I mean, my legs just stopped working. So some of my friends came. I don't. Maybe they were in the bathroom with me. Maybe they weren't. But my friends came, picked me up, carried me downstairs to the bottom floor. Um, uh, we waited on an ambulance for maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes, and ambulance never showed up. And so they loaded me in the back of my car, carried me to Skyline. Don't ever go to Skyline, by the way.
Don't do it.
But they carried me to Skyline, and I sat on Skyline's table for maybe 30 minutes after I was dropped off at the ambulance, dropped off at the emergency room. And Skyline said, "There's nothing we can do for you. You got to go to a trauma center. You got to go to Vanderbilt. We got to rush you to Vanderbilt right now." And I don't remember the ambulance ride. The last thing I remember before waking up in hospital is just being on that table and having like a dozen nurses, doctors around me doing whatever they were doing to me to try to save my life. And waking up, the very first thing I remember when waking up at Vanderbilt was Miss Anthony praying over me. That's the very first memory I have of her, of anything after waking up from, I don't know if they, after performing surgery. So when I wake up, I find that I was shot twice. I was shot in the stomach. I shot in the leg, and the one in my leg went straight through. The one in my stomach is still in me. And shit, it still scares me to this day. Like, am I gonna wake up with some lead poison or something, or the bullet's gonna shift? But the doctors reassure me, like, once tissue develops around it, it ain't going nowhere. And I still have stomach problems to this day, but I was scared that I was gonna be shitting in a bag for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? But thankfully, that didn't happen. Um, so that was a scary moment in my life, and it was kind of I look at it as a blessing. Honestly, I needed that. I absolutely 100% needed that, and I don't know if I don't know if it wasn't for that moment that I wouldn't be here today. You know what I mean? Because something 100 times worse could have happened. My life could have been taken the next day. You know what I mean? And the thought about just being on a t-shirt as a memory, maybe I would just been on a t-shirt. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's young people have to realize that that's not that's not the life you want to live. You know what I mean? To live a life up to a point to be gunned down and to end up on a t-shirt and then be tossed in the back of the closet for the next forever until they throw it away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think as a young person we actually rationalize that to understand that could have been our outcome. Because how many t-shirts you feel like you've bought over time? You know what I mean?
Dozens.
And it's senseless to what did these guys or women lose their life over? You know what I mean? Over a color, over some nonsense. And for that to be, the norm is just not okay. It's not. It is more to life. There's more, and young people have to figure that out. It's 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 a tragedy to live your life a certain way, not have anything to, carry down to your family, and not have anything to give to your family but a t-shirt with your face on it. Like it's terrible to say and just to be forgot about. Like honestly, it's sad to say, but the people you may think about these people every day, right? But do you think everybody thinks your way of living through their memory? You know what I mean? Not everybody does that. They just see that and move on. So you know, it scares me. At one point in my time, there was a guy, Thomas Connor. He actually works with us with Stars. I don't know if you remember him. He's a very good friend of mine. I love him to death. He was another person that kind of influenced my life into, not necessarily helping me make that change, not to like a snap of a finger, but planting roots. And that's the stepping stones of, surviving gang life or escaping gang life reality. Planting those roots are huge. At one point in my life, I told him, and this is in my younger days, I remember talking to him, and I told him because I thought at some point I was going to be a t-shirt, and um, I told him that I was young at the time. I was, like I said, hell, I was probably 17, 18 at the time. And I was like, I want kids to, carry on my memory. And, reflecting back on that and thinking that that was my response of not living for my kids, but just dying and for them to carry on my legacy. And I specifically told them to carry on my legacy. And that's selfish of me to even to just say something like that, to make it seem like, okay, I'm gonna bring these kids, and I love my kids to death. I'd do anything in the world for them. I'm sure you would too. And but for me to bring them into this world and to possibly not have a father anymore because I'm out here doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? It was selfish. It was very selfish. But I'm glad I'm matured enough to understand that that was a problem within myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of these young people need to wake up.
Yeah, it's. I look back at only like growing up in the projects, man. It becomes the only world you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's hard to see outside them concrete walls.
And I don't want to cut you out, but I tell one of my friends, you become a prisoner of your culture.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, you're entrapped in this. But you can go.
I was just gonna give a shout out to my grandma and baby Ann because they stayed out in the country. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So I was able to see
A different life.
outside of the projects.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what helped me, see that it's something bigger than just South Aid or Settle Court.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
something bigger than that. You could actually live a normal life.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
growing up in the projects, all you know, you see death, you see drugs,
Uh-huh.
you see prostitution, you see all this going on a daily basis. It become normal. You become numb to it, and it's like just crazy the fact that we was able to overcome all that.
Yeah.
With I don't want to credit it all the project piece, but looking back, man, certain people made big changes, like
Yeah, absolutely.
without even noticing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember my guy David was in the paper for saying I'm a man before I'm anything. And this was a 13, 14-year-old child in the gang, representing the gang. But to the newspaper, he told them I'm a man before I'm anything. Like what? That was where you get that from? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's big. That was big. You know what I'm saying? Even TJ, like he came up with, he was like I was saying earlier, he like the spokesperson. He like the
he's very vocal. Yeah,
the word he came up with the word romanticism.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if he invented that word or coined it, but he should. You know what I'm saying? It means something like romanticism. Like I might can come up to you and be like, "What's up, my nigga, man? What the fuck
Yeah.
you been doing?" But if a stranger walk up to you like that,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, "Hold on, what you doing all that right here like that?"
Mm.
That's the romanticism. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
had that romantic relationship to where I can come to you and talk to you like
Yeah,
that versus
yeah.
somebody who don't know you like that, they can't.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, the project walls is it's hard to see past them project walls, man.
Yeah,
Them things get bigger
absolutely.
and bigger
Yeah. You
as
get
you get
comfortable.
older.
You get comfortable and just you're okay with the situation you're in.
You're
You know what
okay
I
with
mean?
being probably being dead by the time you're 25.
That's scary. That's scary to think about. That's scary to talk about. Like
Yeah.
there's so much more to life. There's so much life to live that, and I meant to do this before we came on, but I wanted to look at like statistics as far as people specifically, black culture, black men being either incarcerated or dead by the age of 25. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that number, and I wish I would have looked. I wish I would remember to look that up. But it's scary to even think about. And I think about it for my son. I have a son. You have a son. You know what I mean? You don't want them to live that life you lived.
And I catch my oldest son trying to live that life for his man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, put belt to ass.
Yeah, my wife told him, write his name on his cup because they kept throwing cups in the trash and this type of stuff. He wrote his name on there, but he put 7 to the world below on the cup.
For real.
Man, I'm hot.
Man.
I'm hot. Like, what do you ain't never seen me do that. You don't hear me talking like that. Where you getting that from? Now I'm going through phones, social media. Like, hold on, what you tripping, my guy? We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. You 13, 14, 15 years old. That's when it, you know what I'm saying?
That's when, that's when they
you
get
most
you.
impressionable.
Yeah, exactly.
So whoever putting that impression on you, let's cut that short immediately.
Yeah.
So
Did you ever find out like
not necessarily. I kind of blame myself.
Yeah.
That's the only person I can blame because I'm his dad. I should be able to be the one to overcome all impressions.
Okay.
And he probably growing up with me because I had him probably when I was 23.
Y'all grew up together. Yeah.
So when I was 23, I probably was still kind of involved in some nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not wholeheartly, but I definitely was still doing what I was doing. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's father figures play a huge role in the development of these children. And to be there active in their life, you gotta be, especially in time when the YN, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
The YNs are going crazy right now.
Wow.
from news. There's so much. I mean, every day it's like getting worse and worse as far as getting shot, shootouts. You know what I mean? It's always something on the news. I don't know. Maybe that's a problem with the news, just showing all the negative things.
I remember we was talking about Project Peace one time. Was making the good news.
Yeah.
So we just talked about good news all the time.
Yeah.
Because it was like all we heard on TV was death.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're actively in a gang, or when you were actively in a gang, saw things. We both saw things. What did that process look like for you to getting out of your organization? Or was there a process?
There's definitely a process for not necessarily okay, step by step, this is what you gotta do, but it's more so like you kind of just step away from the structure.
Yeah.
Just become like an advisor to the people that you was on deck with or you was closest to, things of that nature. You ain't necessarily involved like you might have been.
You just kind of like dwindled off. Like you kind of just got into the background and just kind of, separated yourself slowly.
Yeah.
So, and it's selfish to say, but it's the truth. I hate to say it's the truth, but a part of me separating myself was initially me getting shot, right? In that time frame, in that time period, right? I was healing for maybe 6 months to a year. I'm struggling to walk, so I'm not going out. I'm not active nowhere. I got stitches going up and down my stomach. So I'm just trying to heal. Yeah, I'm just trying to heal. So within that time frame, a lot of my friends done some things, and it led to a big gang bust. So in that time period of me healing, you remember the big gang bust in Nashville. That was all my friends. You know what I mean? Those are all the people I was with. And, that led to me, like, I got to stand in the background. Like it's hot right now, so I just kind of over time I separated myself. You know, I moved to the country. You know, I just put my head down and worked. And like I said, I changed, and my mentality changed over time to help me to become the person I am today.
Yeah.
And it's selfish of me to say that, you know, without them going to be locked up, you know what I mean, I would be in that same position. You know, I'll be incarcerated or dead somewhere. And you know, I ain't no snitch or nothing, but I can't at this point. At this point in my life, I can't do no damn time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe if I was 10 years ago, you know, and I know I'm actively doing dumb shit, I could probably take a charge. I do my time, no problem. But I ain't doing shit right now. I ain't doing shit. The only reason why I would need to do time in my life right now is if somebody harmed myself or my kids or my wife or my family, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't have no problem. Like if it comes
right on down.
if it comes to that point in my life, I don't mind doing that time.
Yeah.
But if you know, if we doing some, if I'm being a part of some dumb shit, I'm not being a part of that. I ain't taking no charges. I ain't no, get away. Yeah. Move around with that. I'm not a part of that no more. I ain't part of that. Like, cause I can't do that time. You know what I mean? Right. I ain't taking it. I'm legally able to carry a gun right now, and I respect those privileges, and I love those privileges that I have. So if you know, if I'm around some people that's doing dumb shit, and you know we get jammed up, I can't do that time, man.
Yeah,
I ain't doing.
If you're in the car with me and you got something on you,
exactly,
and you throw it on the floor, and they ask whose it is, either you gonna tell them it's yours, or we gonna be in here fighting, and I'm gonna tell them it's yours. I don't give a fuck.
That's the thing, Charleston White. You know who Charleston White is. He's some of the things, like he's not very popular among some people, but a lot of people he is he's very popular. But some of the things he speaks truth. You know what I mean?
Most of it is true, I think, and I think that's why people hate him.
Yeah. He like, cause I can't, you know, I ain't no snitch, but I might be a snitch especially if I'm not involved. If it ain't my shit,
say it's levels to it. Like if me and you say we're gonna go rob this bank,
and we
in
agreement.
And I get caught, but I give them your name. Okay,
that's a snitch. That's one thing.
But if we in the car together, I got a strap on me illegally, and we get pulled over, and I throw it on the floor. It's your car. They gonna take you down unless I take the charge, and you be like, nigga, you better take your motherfucking charge. That's not snitching to me. That's not snitching to me at all. Matter of fact, I'm gonna beat you up in this motherfucker if you don't take your charge.
I'm gonna get a charge of fucking.
I'm gonna kick this motherfucker. Ain't no way. I'm not going to jail for no other man. Not gonna happen.
You know, there was I remember this moment. We were on when I was doing dumb shit. You know, we was driving. It was my car. We was dunking my car. It was 5 deep in this Impala, right? And something had happened on South 7. We on South 8. Something had happened. I don't know if it was somebody came through shooting on South 7 or what. But I remember, I mean, we 5 deep in this fucking car, my closest friends, right? So we take off. We got one car, we got one gun in this motherfucker. we got one gun in this car, right?
Yeah.
We pull on South 8, we get on South 7, and we get pulled over. The cop says my car matches the description. So they immediately get out. I had at the time, and I'll reflect back, but I had done some stuff that every time I get pulled over at that point into my life, I was getting searched because of the stuff that I had got in trouble with prior to that, drug charges. And so every time I'm pulled over, I'm getting pulled out the car getting searched, I'm getting patted down, yada, 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 full 9. Well, they pull us all out of this car, right? One of us got a gun. The gun ends up under the passenger seat, right? By the grace of God, police is active on South 7. I don't know if they got distracted somehow by something else happening somewhere else. Maybe they found the shooters who shot on South 7th or what. So they're searching this car, and I'm at the corner of my back seat, And one of my friends said he put the gun underneath the seat, on the passenger seat. And I'm looking at my passenger rear doors open. I got all the doors open, and I'm looking at the fucking gun as they're searching the fucking car. By the grace of God or whoever, they did not fucking find that gun. They got distracted and they left somewhere else. We snapped on one. We snapped on one of the dude who was holding the gun. Yeah. Like, why the fuck? Because there was somebody else in the passenger seat. He got mad. Like, why the fuck you doing that shit? Like, but nobody got caught. Nobody got caught with it. Nobody got charged with it. So at that moment in time, we got lucky. Did you ever have a lucky moment? Like, damn, I got lucky as hell.
Multiple times. I mean, shit, same type of situations. The one I'm gonna speak of, let me see, maybe one or two. This one where, okay, we used to go on missions, what we used to call it. We used to wake up and be like, what's on the agenda today? And we would walk from South A all the way to North 2nd and back, just robbing shit.
Damn.
Anything out there getting got. You know what I'm saying? It was real definition of YNs. We out here just wilding.
Yeah.
So we walking back from North 2nd one time, and the police run up on us. And they said, like you said, we fit the description of some little young niggas out here acting wild. It's in the fall. So they set us down on the sidewalk. I know my boy got the strap on him. Mm-hmm. He didn't run. We telling him to run. He didn't run. So we think he's just gonna go down with it. He sits on the sidewalk, the curb about this high, the leaves is piled up on it. They search all us. He the last one to get searched. They stand him up, search him. No gun. They search him again. No gun. So we like, what the fuck? What a gun at? He ain't say nothing. So police left, but they told us we had to leave the area. We had to get away from this side of town. If they see us again, they're taking us to jail for trespassing.
Yeah.
So he like, when we got away, long story short, we got away from the police, and he was like, man, I buried the, you know how we used to sag with the big ass pants on back in the day? He buried the gun in the leaves on the curb through his pants while we was being searced. So he left the gun right there. So we like, man, we're gonna go back and get the guns when everybody had the pearl handle 25. And we wanted to go back for that motherfucker so bad. We tried 2 or 3 times. Police seen us and was like, I told y'all, you know, we're gonna get y'all. And that's one instance I got lucky on that one though, man. That shit was crazy. Because we all went to jail. But another one, hell, it was a group of guys. Somebody walked up, had got beat up. Long story short, he got beat up. He came to get us. He had the strap on him though.
Yeah.
And he was like, we finna go around there. I'm finna shoot these. I'm finna shoot him. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna pop his ass. They game me, whatever happened. I'm finna go around here and pop his ass. So I'm like, let me go in the house and change clothes first. So I had on a big red hoodie. And I was like, I don't want, too bright red hoodie. They're gonna see me.
Yeah.
So I put the black hoodie on. As I walk out my door, Metro Police right there, flashing the lights. I tried to shut the door. He like, come on out here. You with them. I'm like, I ain't with them. I don't even know them. He said,
Yeah.
He said, come on in there before we have to come in there and get you. So I came on outside. I ain't know my boy threw the gun in the bushes. So we sitting right there. He's searching us. No gun. I'm like, cool. They can't find him. Maybe threw it on the roof. I don't know. He flashed lights in the bushes. He yelled something on the intercom to his little speaker thing, some code. The next thing you know, he pulled out his gun. Gun. Everybody get on the ground. Crazy shit ever. He put us all on the ground. They come from around the building. They come deep. They roughing us up. We teenagers. They treat us like adults out there. Knee on neck, all that. Get on the ground. Don't move. My homeboy ended up taking the charge though, man. Because he said, I'm taking all y'all to jail as one of y'all take the charge for this gun. Everybody just looked at each other like, shit, guess we're going to jail tonight. You know what I'm saying? My boy was like, nah, it's mine. It wasn't his gun. He wasn't the one got beat up, none of that. But
that moment changed his life and hell, your life.
Hell yeah.
Forever. That's, it takes a lot. That's love right there for him to say, this is my gun. Wasn't even his gun. For all y'all. And, it's that love is hard to come by. But we're not. So we are laughing about some of this shit right now. But this is real life, you know what I mean? It's scary. It's we can laugh back now, but if you are a young person right now who's battling the idea of joining the gang or trying to escape the gang life, these are just stories that we want to instill in your brain that we had to battle. Like we laugh about it now, but our life could have changed dramatically in seconds. we could be, locked up or dead right now. And it's a scary thought. When you were speaking about, officers treating you like grown men. My first encounter, my first ever time, I got locked up. I served crack to the Vice undercover cop, basically. And it was on at the Shell gas station on Shelby Street. And
hot boy. God,
yeah. And that was, honestly, that was one of my very first, I did sell the drugs later that in that time frame of my life, but that was my one of my very first times ever selling any type of drug. And I served advice as a juvenile, and I got treated. I mean, I'm not a big statured guy, and even then, I was a small kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was treated like a grown ass man. They threw me to the ground. They body slammed me to the ground. Basically, I didn't have any gun on me or anything. I just had the crack on me, and they threw me to the ground, arrested me. They said I had more than what was actually that I actually had. I know what I bought. That ain't what I had on me. And they said it was more than what I actually had on me, and I got a felony for it. And that moment changed my life, because I wanted to, after being shot and everything, I tried to get in the military, just because I needed to move. I needed to get away. You know what I mean? I didn't want my life seeing my friends being in prison. Seeing me getting shot. I needed to be away. I just needed to go a new change of scenery. And that prevented me from from going to the military, that felony charge. And stuff like that, we have to realize that it's a big impact. I mean, like luckily I got it expunged. That was my major that was my only major encounter with law enforcement. But I was able to get it expunged. I have my voting rights back. I carry firearms now legally. I mean, nobody and officers can't fuck with me about it. You know what I mean? This is my right. And I'm glad that you had that same right, because that stuff like that, I mean, it's huge. Being able to carry my firearm, because I'm a pro gun advocate. So, I believe it's a right and a privilege. But you don't carry that lightly. You don't carry that weight lightly, because there's a lot of the bad things that happen with carrying guns. Were there any moments, and I spoke about earlier about moments that could have cost me my life? You spoke briefly about a moment where times where you could have been incarcerated. Do you remember a time where, like, damn, my life is threatened? Like, something's about to happen. You know what I mean? Can you describe, or I mean, if you don't, like I said, some things it's better left unsaid, but we try to be real.
With the kids, and all this stuff we're talking about is not to glorify.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
We don't want y'all to go down that path, because you might not be as lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. There are people that's not lucky. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's people serving life sentences and life just being gone, being stuck in a box for 23 hours a day, or just a prison itself, being locked up. Because I can't do time, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. The thought of me sitting in somewhere in a building and life just moving on, like me not be able to freely, bro, I'll go fucking insane.
Yeah. Most people do.
Yeah.
I had my brother tell me one time, man, I'd die for you. I looked at him like he was crazy. Like, you lost your ass. Don't die for me. Live for me.
That's powerful.
Live for me, bro. Like, if something ever happened to me, I want you to be able to teach my kids the same stuff I was teaching them. Or if something ever happened to you, I want to be able to teach your kids the stuff that I thought you would want them to know.
Yeah.
But speaking of incidents where, my life was definitely in danger, I ain't gonna necessarily say I put my life in. Well, yeah, I did, because I was out there doing what I was doing. But we was walking through the circle one day.
Yeah.
We walking through, me and my brother-in-law, whatever. We walking through the circle. It's 3 dudes over there on the bench. It's one bench on the park. If anybody familiar with South 8, they know what the circle is and what it's made up of. So we walking through the circle. We see these guys. One dude, it's probably mid-spring, early summer. He got on a big hoodie, big puffy jacket, ski mask, sunglasses, and gloves. Now the two dudes with him, we knew who they was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't have all that on, but this dude, you know he up to no good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm minding my business. I know to mind my business. We trying to push through. We hear them talking amongst each other. And the dude with the mask on, she's like, who them niggas over there? Talking to his homie there, you know what I'm saying? I ain't say shit. I'm like, shit, keep pushing. Them niggas know who he is, and we know who them niggas is. This fool holler out, nah, who the fuck is you, nigga? Yeah. I'm thinking, so when he said that, I was on now. You know what I'm saying? He basically should have said, he could have just went on and said, what's cracking? Because at this point, you know what it is. I keep walking. He stopped. I keep walking like, this nigga stupid. They all mobbed down on him. So I'm thinking, oh, dang, I can't let them gang my homie out. If they gonna just fight this shit, it's gonna be 3-on-2.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude knew me or knew of me or what it was, but he's like, man, you better tell your homie, shut up before I pop him. He reaching in his pocket as he looking at me in my face. My homeboy standing to him like this. He looking at me in my face, though, telling me I better tell him, shut up before I pop him. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up, nigga. You don't see what's going on?
Yeah.
Too late. He got the gun out. He just get the dumping. Bloom. Luckily, when the gunshots stopped, I was like, man, y'all niggas better not shoot me. This nigga right here, he dumb. This nigga tripping. They take off running. He didn't realize he was hit yet. We turned to walk off. He was like, oh, that's real. We turned to walk off, and I guess he immediately, when he took that first step, he was like, ah, shit. And I'm like, what? He was like, ah, shit, I think I'm hit. Like, what you mean you think you hit? Because Buddy was basically shooting at the ground.
Yeah.
This nigga hit in the pelvic bone. So he immediately drops or whatever, you know what I'm saying? He talking about going home to his mom. Like, nah, you can't go to his mom. You can't go on your mom, nigga. You're going to give your mom a heart attack. I'm just going to call 911 right here, right now.
Yeah.
Call 911. Somebody had already called 911 and said that I was the shooter.
Oh, my God.
They pull up on us. They treat me like a grown man. Aggressive as hell. I got weed on me. They find the weed. We get evicted from South 8. We get 3 days to get up out of there.
Damn.
You know how hard it is to find somewhere to move in 3 days?
Man.
So that was definitely a point where that was one of the most scariest times of my life right there, because they could have easily shot both.
Oh, yeah.
One to the head for both of us. Right
yeah.
Easily.
Even if he was just trying to scare you, he could have accidentally shot you.
Shooting at the ground, hitting a rock. Boom.
Yeah.
Anything. So yeah, man. That's just one time that I can speak of.
What age? Yeah, because it's times that
I want to say I was about 14, 15. And it kind of helped my life because, I got my mama put out the project, I got my family put out the project or whatever, and she moved in with her boyfriend. Me and her boyfriend did not get along at all. Like, I used to kick his ass all the time. But I refused to move in over there.
Yeah.
So I moved in PA with my sister.
Yeah.
But my sister was never home. So I used to walk to Stratford.
Yeah.
You know, I was like the man of the house.
Yeah.
Boom, there it is. So when I used to miss school, people like Miss Anthony would come knock on my door. Like, you need to get your ass and come to school. So it kind of was a blessing and a curse at the same time, because it got me out of that environment.
Yeah.
That I was either gonna go to jail or die. Because I was definitely getting into the selling the weed. I was toting guns. You know, my homeboy just got shot. Who knows the revenge that we was on coming from that.
Yeah.
Boom. Luckily, you got to move in 3 days. So now I'm in Inglewood, going to school from over here. Now I'm outside of all that.
Yeah.
I go back over there all the time. Back then, I don't go over there like that now. Like you said, I might ride through there or something. I'm not standing out.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we were talking about earlier, like going through old places we used to be. I mean, South 8 ain't South 8 no more anyway. But I ain't standing out on the block no more. I'm not doing any of that. You ain't gonna catch me
dangling outside. Group of crowd of people.
And I get anxiety, honestly. Like even when I go to places like that, from being shot, big crowds of places, I get anxiety of, I'm looking around, just, and maybe that's where I was before, but now, like, I try to really avoid any of that nonsense.
I got another one that I could just think of off the top of my head. I seen a close friend of mine get shot in his neck, standing right next to me on Sivian. We standing on Sylvan, car come down through there like a Jeep or whatever. You know how the back screen let up, you hear the
Yeah, yeah.
man, he let the screen up and just got the screaming at us. Doing. It was crazy because it was Crips standing right here, Blood standing right here, GD standing right here, and then there was a little mixed crowd standing right here. There was a little bit of all the ones that was cool standing
Yeah.
right there. But my guy got hit in the neck. He struck out run. We all split, struck out running.
Yeah.
When we come back, he laying on Sylvian holding his neck.
Damn.
Got shot through and through.
He make it?
Yeah, he made it.
That's the blessing.
Definitely a blessing, man.
Man.
Definitely a blessing. When I see him to this day, that's all I'll be like, man.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
Blessed, bro. You blessed to
One
be
inch
alive.
either way, or some, I don't know what direction it need, but I'm sure less than that.
It was a nurse that stayed on South 6 that came out, made everybody move and put his own shirt around him and held his neck to the ambulance came. That was like an angel from God. Like, who knew a nurse on Sylvia? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Who would ever thought?
That's crazy. It's to all the times when we reflect back on that, you know, that could have ended our lives, or some of our closest friends that, you know, I'm sure we both share significant friends that we've lost over the years to gang violence, to even not even gang violence. You know, we had some females that just bystanders, you know, that just there, happen to be there, and they get caught in the crosshairs, you know, the crossfire anyways. I mean, like one of my friends just that I, you know, when I was in that life, I hung around, died recently, shootout with DEA. So, you know, you never know who's watching. You never know when it's your time to go. And, you know, I don't want my time to go because I was somewhere doing something stupid with the wrong people.
You know, I look back, I feel like I outlived my generation.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's crazy to think like that, but like if you look at it, we kind of outlived our generation. Like, I look back, some of my friends, they either strung out on dope, locked up, or barely making it. Like, to be where we at now in life, to come from where we come from, is amazing. Like, it's a blessing.
It's one friend. We both share a mutual, and I'll tell you off camera, but I never would have thought of him, but he's strung out on heroin right now. Yeah. Bad.
And that's the new thing, man. Fentanyl and the heroin is taking people out.
Yes. It was, you know, I like we were talking earlier off camera about, you know, weed. That was the only drug I really knew about. Now it's just so much drugs that you could choose from that it wasn't cool. Like, I don't know if it's a cool thing now to pop pills and to do heroin or fentanyl or anything. Like, I don't even know if can you do fentanyl? I don't know if we ain't gonna discuss on how, but like I just don't understand the concept of it. And, you know, because me growing up, it was just weed, it was just marijuana. Right. You know, I remember one time when I was selling, my mom found I had 4 ounces in some jars in my closet, in the very back of my closet. This was the loudest. This new age weed is different from weed we had back here from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But I had some weed in jar. I had like 4 ounces in my closet. I had it in jars, in baggies, in like shoe boxes, and clothes stacked on top of this jar because it was funky. That weed was funky. She found it because it was so potent and she threw it all away. I was so mad. But again, those are moments in time where, you know, I appreciate it because it could have led to, you know, if I was successful with moving those, you know, it could have moved to something else. So, you know, there's moments in time that, you know, I feel happened that needed to exactly happen. Me getting shot, you know, me getting arrested with that serving device, you know, me my weed getting thrown away by my mom. There's so many moments like that help build to that, to me, to who I am today. So you talked about like moments in time of yourself. Was there a defining moment where you like, you know what, I can't be a part of this organization. This is my defining moment that says I'm not I'm not with the shit no more, it's over with? Do you recall a defining moment?
Uh, I can't even really say right off, man, because I still feel like I am who I am and what I ain't not never be type of stuff. But like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know for sure
But you
I'm
would be
not.
a different person. Yeah,
Yeah,
you would be a
I know
different
for
person.
sure I'm
Yeah,
not what I used to be.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
For me, like I said, it escalated. All those things were building blocks. But the moment for me was when my daughter was born, my first child. And I looked at her, and like I said earlier about the legacy of leaving a legacy behind with my kids. I was like, I gotta take care of her. I can't leave her in this world by herself and not having a father to, to look after her, not to be there for her, not support her. I can't be that person no more. That's who I cannot be right now. She needs me. This is a small child. I can't let her live the life that I live. Like you were expressing about your son, I can't put her in those situations where I was growing up because she could not be as lucky. You know what I mean? And that would, I mean, dude, something happened to my kids, man. That would,
send either one of us up
yeah,
that
yeah,
road.
yeah. It's another scary thing to think about.
Yeah, and I can't necessarily say the gang stuff, but like
Uh-huh.
I was big on weed. I was a weed selling, smoking connoisseur.
Oh,
Like that's
okay.
what I did. That's what like when I lived on my own. That's how I got it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how I was getting it. That's how I was
yeah.
able to pay the bills.
Uh-huh.
And that's just what I did. And I
Mm,
used to smoke weed a lot.
mhm.
And one moment, I used to smoke weed around my kids. I ain't gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. But
Mhm.
at that time I was, and that's what helped me stop doing it. One day I'm in the room smoking, and my son was yawning, and I was like, they got a contact. I think he might be getting high off his shit.
Uh.
Right then I knew I gotta stop. I gotta
Mm.
stop. I gotta get me a job. I gotta
Yeah.
try to do something different. This ain't gonna
And you just quit cold turkey.
quit cold turkey.
Mm.
I ain't smoked
Some
probably
people,
in 10, 15 years.
I'm some people say that weed's not addictive. I'm one of the people say, nah, it's some there you can be addicted to weed.
I had to learn the hard way on weed being a gateway drug or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It might not have been a gateway drug for me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been times where I'm smoking or my friends come around, they smoking, and he tell me, "Oh man, it's got powder on it," and I'm thinking he just saying that so
Yeah.
he don't want to smoke, he don't want to share his little
Yeah,
weed or
yeah,
whatever. So I hit the weed anyway.
yeah.
So I get to spit like, hold on, this nigga. I said, you gotta get the fuck on away from around me. And from that point on, me and him never kicked it like that
Yeah,
again.
absolutely.
Even though he's trying to keep it real with me. But just the simple fact
Yeah, you
he's smoking that shit.
doing
Like
that,
it's,
yeah, because it's gonna lead to what's next. You ain't getting
exactly.
high on powder no more.
I never understood why put weed and coke together. You might want to smoke crack. Like, shit.
I smoked one, but it was never admitted to me that it was laced, and I just felt different. Like it was a it the I was never at that point in time when it happened. I was never exposed to coke or crack or anything, but this blunt had coke on it, and you could smell the difference. You could
like
smell the
burning hair
difference, but I
products.
didn't know. I didn't know. You said burning earpods, but I didn't know the difference, man. I just I felt the difference.
Yeah.
When after that feeling, I was like, this don't feel right. Like this ain't the same how I'm used to. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I'm in agreement that it's a completely a gateway drug, and you can be addicted to weed. I know people that just can't stop.
I say now to like my friends and family, like I was a junkie.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
was a junkie.
That's
I had to have
big.
it before I went to school, during school, after school, before work, during work, after work, before I eat, after I eat. I was a junkie.
For
you slick junked out.
For you to admit that, like you can't to admit that shit.
Yeah,
it shows how much you grow and understand. That can happen. Like that's crazy for you to for you to understand that and to actually admit it's powerful.
I look back on it. If I get the money and the time I spent on getting high,
Oh man, just stuck to just. Once you removed yourself from the organization, how'd you start rebuilding your life after leaving the organization?
definitely became a family man.
Oh yeah,
So my
that time.
girlfriend at the time, who was my wife now,
Mm-hmm.
she definitely played a role in it. Her
Mm-hmm.
family members played a role in it. 'Cause like I said, I was doing the weed thing, and
Mm-hmm.
they wasn't accepting that. They was
Yeah.
like, for my daughter or my granddaughter, because it was her granny that
Yeah.
really got me to stop selling weed. She was like, "For that's not gonna cut it for
Uh.
her. So if that's what you're gonna be doing, you might want to find you somebody else because that ain't gonna work for her."
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, of course it didn't happen overnight,
Yeah.
but I gradually, I think I started working at McDonald's. It was my
Mm-hmm.
first job. Of course, that shit didn't last long at all. So I moved into other jobs. Uh, I got a good job working for Polaris ATVs or whatever, building them. And I had a son, had another son, and I ended up getting on the Metro. When I got on the Metro, it just showed me a whole different way of life in general. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
making an amount of money that I never ever thought
Ever
I could
thought
be. You
about
know
it?
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got me a CDL,
Uh-huh.
all that kind of stuff that I didn't even think about. And me and her ended up getting more serious. I got married,
Mm-hmm.
bought a house,
Yeah.
went back to school, got a GED,
Mm-hmm.
even went to college, went to Nashville State for a while till COVID came around. It
Yeah.
kind of ruined that, but
Yeah.
definitely just was like a snowball effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once I
Yeah.
let all the dumb stuff go,
Yeah.
the positivity in my life just went on a roll.
You know, so exposing yourself to different situations, different people, that's what I encourage anybody. Like we were talking earlier about music, like we listen to podcasts now more.
Yeah.
That I like listening, and the point of this mixed feelings is to talk to people with different life perspectives, exposing different views from different people, and I enjoy doing that. Even music, dude. Music plays a huge role in society. What you listen to what you are. And to an extent, I don't mean like if you just listening to one genre of music that's what you're gonna become. You have to understand, you have to be able to separate yourself from, all right, this is just music. This is just maybe they not playing, but I don't want to be associated with that life. I just like listening to it. You have to disassociate yourself with that type, but you have to experience new things. Just for instance, we were talking earlier about my buddy doing like heavy metal.
Yeah.
And so his concert is July 11th. Shout out to Burned on Altars. If you guys are in the Murfreesboro, it's actually in Murfreesboro. You might want to come with me. I think it's in Murfreesboro. I think it's in Murfreesboro. But he does like heavy metal, and I've never, I listen to anything. I give something a shot, and I listen to a little bit of everything: heavy metal, R&B, country, hip hop, rap. I just like hearing stories. That's my favorite. My part about it is stories. I like the story that it can tell. And I'm gonna go July 11th. His concert is gonna be somewhere in Murfreesboro. I have to look at the flyer to exactly see. But shout out to Burn on Altars. Being able to associate yourself and try experience new things, and that's what you did. You When you got out your comfort zone of selling weed, you went on to got a job in Metro. Now you probably got friends that you would have never fucking figured out that you would have been friends with 10 years ago if your life was the same. You know what I mean? And they can help put you in different avenues in life. And like I said, I enjoy trying new things. I go fishing quite a bit, but I fished even when I was in that lifestyle. But I go fishing even more. But I'm up and willing to try and explore new avenues of anything. If somebody called me up right now and said, "Hey, I'm going skydiving," I might not fucking go skydiving, but I might be on a plane with you and watch you skydive. But I consider it. You know what I mean? I'll weigh the options. Like,
try everything at least once.
yeah. And I don't mind doing that. You know what I mean? And that's to the extreme, but I encourage people, especially music, like to listen to new things. Don't just listen to one thing. Whether it's if you just listen in the country, don't just fucking listen to country. Just travel to new avenues. Try new things. Understand different people's perspective, because that your perspective may change. And that's why I build this channels to understand and just, you know, hear people's views on life, because my view ain't the same as yours. Your view ain't the same as my next door neighbor. You know what I mean? And I want to embrace those differences. Because I always, and that's why I named the channel Mixed Feelings, because my feelings are always differential, on many different topics. You know what I mean? I like to consider the alternate perspective of someone else. Like I want to know what was going through that officer's mind when I'm a 14-year-old kid and I'm a little fragile kid and he threw me to the damn pavement. You know what I mean? Like what was going through your mind? What do you did you would a better option not have been to talk to me? I ain't saying that the officer should do that. I completely deserve to fucking get locked up. but like, how do you approach that, and how do you help instead of just causing altercation? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what we should do here. We're actually getting another opportunity, and I spoke to you about this earlier about Peace Jam, and it's in the works. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it is in the works. And they invited Project Peace to come back and speak and put on a show. And that was a big moment. That put us in rooms that we would never think about.
Yeah.
You know, I it was one year I was with my friend Thomas Connor, and we actually got to sit down. We had dinner with one of the Nobel Peace Prize winners. I don't think I presented Peace Jam that year. I don't think we did. I think it was just me there, and I was just a part. Maybe I would. Maybe we did. I can't remember.
With the lady?
Yes,
Yeah, we
yes.
was all there.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had dinner with her that night,
Yeah.
and she didn't speak. Her Dr. Eden Idabi. I may be pronouncing her name wrong. And we actually had a conversation. And like I said, different environments put you in different situations that you would never thought you would be in. I'm sitting directly across. Our table. We have a table of many different people, many different backgrounds, all professionals, right? I'm this kid sitting at this table directly across from Nobel Peace Prize winner, and she's engaged in conversation with me. Out of everybody here, even though she needed a translator, right? She engaged a conversation with me. She had professionals all the way around her, and we were talking about you know um, this is a short story, but we were talking about religion, right? And she asked me what I believed in. I was like, well, I'm a Christian. And she told me what her beliefs were. And so she tells me the story of where she came from. In her village, there was a story, right? That there was one God, right? And God had this mirror in his hand. And one day that mirror broke into thousands of pieces. And people from all across the world came and took a piece of that mirror with them back to where they're from. And that mirror stood for the truth. So again, going back to my beliefs, that perspective put put a bug in my ear. Like, okay, because I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian simply because that's my horse in the race. I don't condemn another religion because I'm right and you're wrong. I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel this is what I was brought up to, and I'm open to hear what you're saying, and I completely agree with what you're saying, because I don't know if mine's the truth. Like, you expect me to believe something that happened, thousands of years ago from a book that could have been, translated wrong or altered in any way. And, I don't I don't I don't like to fault anyone else saying they're wrong, because I don't know. I simply don't know. I cannot sit here and say you're wrong, I'm right, or you're right and I'm wrong, because nobody fucking knows. I feel like as long as you're living a productive life and you're not causing any issues, if your religion is making positivity and putting positivity into the world, then I'm all for it. Hell yeah, do what you do. But that again, that's a part of mixed feelings, right? I'm never sure about what the truth is. That's why I want to hear people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Um, and we got a little off track, but going back to gang life and growing up, where did you see yourself? Like as you're actively in the gang, did you, and it's probably a hard question to ask because me myself, I didn't look towards a future,
Yeah.
and it's sad to say, but I didn't look as, oh, I'm gonna be the leader of my gang right now. You know what I mean? I was just in the moment at that present time, and a part of that being is because of at that age, your brain isn't developed 100% where it's capable of being developed to. But for you, what did you see yourself?
Uh, Growing up, I kind of listened to what everybody told me. Said I wasn't gonna be shit.
Yeah.
Teachers would tell me I wasn't gonna be
Mm,
shit. Said I'll be dead or in jail by the time I was 21. So I believe that.
mm,
So I kind of lived that lifestyle to
yeah.
where I could be dead or in jail by the time I'm 21.
Mm,
So I seen myself in that way. But I kind of contribute the gang or organization of choice that I chose to my development. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Because yeah, I could have learned all that stuff that I learned from the literature in the gang in school, but I just couldn't hear it in school.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's hard
Mhm.
to relate to some random teacher telling you
Yeah.
something that might help you in the future, but
Yeah.
it's not helping right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I contributed that to the organization because it taught me to study what I'm listening to. Like
Mhm.
I pledged wholeheartedly to something. Like as a child, that
Yeah.
clicked in my head. Like, hold on, wholeheartedly. What's that mean?
Yeah.
And looking it up. Okay, that means I'm devoting my life to this. So I got to
Mhm.
take this serious. Like I got into it with more of my own kind than I have any other game
Mm.
because I go by what it says to go by. I'm
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
going
yeah,
by
yeah.
what.
What the next person
Yeah.
says. Yeah, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you think you Larry Hoover's son? Don't you? No. I'm just
Yeah.
going by what it say. I
Yeah.
wasn't born when it was gangster disciple. I was born growth development.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
So for me, growth and development taught me how to be a man,
Yeah.
how to study this, how to actually grow and develop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thank Larry Hoover for that because I couldn't see that in school.
Mhm.
It wasn't helping me the school route. The literature he taught me everything I needed to know
Mm.
to survive in the streets.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So
So, do you still associate with people from your past life of
to a certain extent,
yeah.
from a long hand of spoon. But
Yeah,
yeah,
okay, alright. But what I mean, do you still have them, cook come over for dinner or cookouts or, hang out with them, go to a bar together or watch the game together? So
the ones that are on the same type of time I'm
abs
on,
exactly. Yeah,
we
yeah,
still can
yeah,
kick it.
yeah,
But the
yeah.
ones that still trying to this gang banged out and all that kind of shit,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
I
I
can't
can't
get down
yeah,
with that.
yeah.
I'm not going to jail for you, my nigga, and I'm not putting myself in harm's
And
way either.
or in a situation that yeah, be caught up in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not worth it.
So, nah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I love a lot of my friends from the far. If you're on the same, I want better for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want better, but if you don't have that, and I understand, I completely understand. It's a struggle to get out of the situation because it was struggle. It was times where I was alone. You know what I mean? By myself, and I had to put my head down and do what I needed to do to better myself, get myself out of the situation. But a lot of times that you got to be a strong person to willingly, remove yourself from the situation and to want better for yourself and your family.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say to someone, maybe a young person who is considering joining a gang or is already involved in gang life?
A young person is considering joining a gang, I tell you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. I mean,
Mhm.
what benefits do you
Yeah.
expect to get from it? If it's just a brotherhood, then
Yeah.
people already consider you a brother anyway.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
guilty by association with them anyway.
Mhm.
Like before you joined the gang,
Mhm.
if you would have just stayed with them, you would have been a part of the gang anyway.
Yeah.
Because all they go do who be with them, so he automatically with them.
Mhm.
Uh, so I would say just don't do it for a young
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
that's thinking about joining the gang, don't do it.
Yeah.
And try to encourage them to not do it as well. Young person that's already in the gang, I wouldn't necessarily try to coerce them to get out of a gang, but I would definitely try to convince them to change the gang from within.
Yeah.
Since you're already in it at this point,
Yeah.
the best way to change it is right there within it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go by what the literature say. Don't go by what they talking or what they doing. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Don't take the pack. Don't take the gun. For what?
Yeah.
Don't hate that. Like, I was able to maintain a lot of relationships because we was friends as kids. Like, growing up, I knew TJ as a child, like really knew him.
Yeah.
I knew David as a child. Like,
Yeah.
they from opposite gangs, but when we became gang members, I didn't treat them as
Yeah.
gang members. I still
Yeah.
treated
Y'all put
them as
that
my
aside.
friends. You know what I'm saying? That's why I knew if I could go get them and people see us standing together, that other people would follow.
Yeah.
So I definitely wouldn't encourage you to go hard or be all gang banged out, but definitely encourage somebody who's already in the gang at a young age to try to make changes within yourself and within the gang from within.
Yeah. It's so hard, especially because, like I said, you were young. We were both young at one point in time, and we it's all about planting seeds. And we may not we may not be able to completely convince you to not join a gang or to get out of this gang, but it's all about seeds. Us with these stories we provided today, and I'm sure that even the people that's watching, that's trying to get out or to avoid being a gang or contemplating being a gang, these are seeds that's being planted. Like, okay, this is real life. Like this, you don't get a second chance. We don't know what's on the other side, right? Why waste my time now? And that goes for anybody, even if you're just a normal citizen. Why waste my time now when there's something I can be doing to be productive, to do something to better my life, to better my family's life. And we have to plant those seeds. It's a revolving door that it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not an easy task to accomplish. But it's all about understanding and accepting those seeds. um So that being said, we've been in this thing for almost an hour, 40 minutes. And I appreciate your time, Mario. I mean, you took your time out this lovely Sunday afternoon, and you could be at home cutting grass right now. And I'm proud of you. I'm honestly, seriously, from the deepest. A lot of times, people will tell you and give you compliments to anybody, but from the bottom of my heart, like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of TJ. I'm proud of David. I mean, y'all escape that reality, and it's huge. You guys have homes, careers, family, man. Y'all married now, and it's to be able to escape that, to survive that life. And because a lot of people don't. I mean, what Boosie say, if you make it to see 25, yeah. I mean, it's rare, and we have to be those people now. To we the adults now, we have to be the ones that take somebody to the side, even if we help save one soul. You know what I mean? That one soul could grow up to do powerful, big things. Because a lot of kids, they're not gonna listen. A lot of YNs ain't gonna listen to you. But if we're there to plant those seeds to prevent that, because one mishap, dude, y'all can be serving life in prison. 25. What TK, that rapper TK,
got an 80 ball.
Man, that's sickening to think about, man. Just to,
what was he, 16?
I don't even know this guy. I just seen like little clips on him on Facebook. I only know I just found out he was a rapper and who he was. I don't know any of his music or anything, but to think you have that potential to where you're recognized on national media, you know what I mean? And to see your life gone now. Like, you, in a matter of a week, you ain't gonna matter no more to anybody, to nobody. Why was it YN Melly?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna, after the trial, you ain't gonna matter to nobody. You just like the people on the t-shirts. After a short period of time, most people forget about you.
Mhm.
Family moves on, girlfriend move on, wife move on,
Yeah.
life moves on without you.
Mhm.
So why not take that time out now to utilize that and to your best ability to make a productive future for yourself, for your kids, for your significant other. You know, like I said, and I appreciate your time, man. Like I'm really proud of you guys. And like I said, for you taking out your time to be here, to be present, to have this conversation with me, it speaks volume. I appreciate all my guests that come on, all my viewers that come on and support the show. The likes, shares, comments, they all matter. You know, we're trying to build something here. Maybe I can talk Mario into being a super co-host with me on the show. But again, thank you again, Mario. It's a pleasure to have you at my home. I'm glad to welcome you into my home, and thank you again for coming. Any last comments, remarks?
I just repeat that same sentiment to you, man. I definitely
Mm.
appreciate you creating a platform
Yeah,
to where we can come on and speak
yeah,
on our past and our
absolutely.
future.
That's what this show's about. Mixed feelings is it's all about getting different perspective, not and nothing scripted to where we're telling you what to say. I just want to know your life. I just want to know what differentiated your life from my life, how you overcame, how you conquered, and etc.
Yeah.
And again, appreciate you guys coming on the show, liking the show, loving the show. Make sure you catch me on YouTube, MEXed Feelings, same as my Facebook. We're trying to, uh, make this thing go crazy. Again, this is Mixed Feelings. You're here with Horatio and Mario. Thank you.